Hey Matt, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Hey,
All the
cool
best.
T-shirt.
Yeah, it's all of the symbols for Batman.
Yeah. It's so funny that I had a sheet that was just like that when we went on our exploration to figure, like literally, Glenn Dillon, who designed the bat suit with Dave Crossman, he was like, "Well, we got to talk about what the bat symbol looks like." And so he just presented me with like, "Okay, these are all of the bat symbols. Now let's talk about like shapes and where we could go." So that's cool that you have that shirt. That reminds
Oh,
me
that's
of
cool. Well, that
the
leads into a
movie.
question then in terms of your bat symbol, because I remember
Yeah.
seeing it for the first time and it's kind of fans have been theorizing it's the gun that was shot his parents, all that kind of stuff. So how did you settle on what the symbol looked like on Rob's suit?
Well, I wanted it to be something that was a practical use. It's not the gun. That was interesting that people were speculating that that's what it
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
But what people did happen on That's Right is I wanted it to be not just an emblem, but I wanted it to be something tactical and functional. And so that it was that's actually the Glauca knife that he uses in a couple of places in the movie. And so yeah, somewhere along the way, I said to them, I said, I want to figure out a way that this is something that we can see him using it. I want him to use that knife. And the knife had been written into the script. So the idea was, is there a way we can take that knife and make it the bat symbol? And that was what they set out to do.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's really unique to everything else because it's been done so many times in so
Yeah,
many different
exactly. It's been done.
fashions.
And that was
Yeah.
the thing. It was like, how do you do something that feels distinctly your own?
Yeah, in terms of the suit itself, I mean that's obviously very very different as well. We saw in Christopher Nolan's movies about how he wanted to make it not have the funny neck turn and all that kind of stuff. They managed to downgrade it. So how long did that process take for you guys to
Oh,
nail what it was
months
going to
and
be?
months and months. I was still working on the script when we started working with Glenn and Dave. And it was it was a long and exciting journey because there are certain things when you're doing a Batman movie that you suddenly stop yourself and go, oh yeah, we're really making Batman. And one of them is when you're designing the car. Of course, you're making a Batmobile. That's a dream. And the other is when you're designing the Batsuit. I mean, that's crazy. You're just like, oh wow. So what does the cowl look like? And there are aspects of it that relate to the ones that you love, and there's a little bit of Batman 66 in there. But I really wanted to make sure that we were leaning into there were really two aspects that were important to me about the suit. One was that its functional purpose is obviously to protect him. So he needed to be able to fight in it. He needed to be able to fight in a certain way. I wanted him to be like a mixed martial arts street fighter. I wanted him to be able to move in it. And some of the bat suits, we actually, when we were testing Rob for the movie, we had to explore all those suits because you do the screen test in one of the old suits. And they moved in a really unique and weird way. They were very kind of rubbery, some of them. And you were like, oh, I can't imagine it would be too easy to fight in this. So just the practicality of being able to fight in it and the practicality of the fact that it was supposed to protect them. So we looked at like Parisian riot police gear and that kind of stuff. We were looking at all kinds of real world references. And that was the practical side. But then there is the kind of more mythic side, which is that he's doing it for the purpose of creating an image. He wants to emerge from the shadows and be this kind of anonymous bat that is intimidating the criminal element. And so then you lean into the sort of more iconic side of it. What should the shape look like? And how can this be like a horror movie? And this idea of, what color it is and how it emerges out of the darkness and all the layers of it. So it's a very exciting process, but it took a long, long time.
I can imagine. And just finally, I mean, my first entry into Batman was my uncle showed me a very grainy VHS copy of the first Tim Burton movie, which we had to
Yeah.
turn the contrast up really high just to be able to see it because it was a
Uh-huh.
kind of quote unquote dodgy copy. So I just wondered I know you've spoken about how Batman was a big part of your childhood, similar to me.
Sure.
What was your kind of first, do you remember what your first comic was or whether the film or the TV show was your first entry and why it
it was
stuck
the
with
TV
you?
show. I mean, it was
Yeah.
Batman 66 because I was born in 1966 and that was the year Adam West started playing Batman. And by the time I was 3, it was like 3 years in. I think the show ran for like 3 years, 3 or 4. I think it was 3. And I didn't see, I always say this because I showed my son who is now 10 and a half, but when I showed it to him, he was probably, I don't know, 6 or 7. And he had exactly the same response that I did, which is he didn't see the campiness of the show. He just saw that Batman was cool. And there's just something about, it's funny. You look back at it now and it's like the show is incredibly funny. It's really campy and silly. And it's got all these amazing cameos of all these incredible character actors. But actually, I just remember loving that car and loving his suit and just thinking that that guy was the coolest guy ever. And so that began my lifelong love of Batman. Adam West, for sure.
Adam West, there he is. So lovely to talk to you, Matt. Thank you so much, and congrats on the movie.
Great talking to you. Thanks you so much.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey, you